You're not a gang member. What you gonna do? You're not from California. Who you gonna run with? What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So this is a video that I feel like I make. I mean, I think I've made it 3 times already. I think the last time I made this video was within the last year. I know 2 years ago I made one, but I'm making it again because I'm constantly asked this question. And I try to tell people like, hey, if you go through my archives, if you go through my content, you'll find it. But I know a lot of people are busy and they watch what pops up on the feed and they keep it moving and they subscribe to the channel or they don't, you know, and whatever they see of mine, they watch it. So I was asked the other day 2 frequent questions, right? But I mean 2 most recent questions, I should say. One was, can you do a video on if somebody from the Midwest goes to California and gets arrested and gets sent to prison, what happens to them? And then another one was, what if you're a resident in the LA County Jail and you get offered a tier tender job or a trustee job and you're asked to pass a kite? What do you do? So this video is going to be addressing all that stuff. If you are not from California or or you're a resident in a city in California, Northerners don't really have that term resident. So it more applies to Southern California. But if you're a resident or you're from out of state, whatever county jail you get to, if you're Mexican, if you're Raza, you're going to get in line with the Raza in that county jail. And you will be living under the same program, functioning exactly the same as those guys who are from California and those guys who are so-called street gang members, right? You're not gonna be there and want them to back you up but run your own program. It doesn't work that way. So by the time you leave whatever county jail you're in, you know who you're going to run with. And you hit the CDC and they're going to classify you and they're going to house you with that group, that faction. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. There are some dudes that look at people differently if they're from out of state or they're a resident. In my experience, that's a very small percentage and that's a very bitter percentage, right? There are guys that I've met in prison that were always looking for a reason to whack another homie. There was more than one occasion where I literally had to step in and ask somebody straight up while they were in the middle of talking a certain way to someone else, abusing the little authority they had. On more than one occasion, I stepped in and I was like, hey, who are you? Eh? Like, who are you that you speak to people like you're above them? And in both cases that I can like immediately recall, the bully had no right to be speaking the way he was. And the vast majority of people in there are going to stick their nose to their own business, not get involved, right? But now and then you have those bullies that they want. Hey, they don't like people, period. And hey, where's that vato from, anyways? And then if they hear you're from out of state, or he don't bang, they have a thing. But the majority of people, they're not with that. No, because it doesn't matter, and a lot of times I get too in the comments, how come the raza from California, from Southern California, wasn't whacking dudes from Arizona when they hit the state, when it's known they'll whack dudes from California when they're in Arizona. Well, California is not Arizona. Whatever's happening over there is happening over there. Just like there could be a riot in high desert. All the rest of the prisons aren't going to riot. Whatever's happening in that prison, they're going to settle it. If something jumps off, wherever you're at, then it'll get handled. It'll get settled one way or the other. But I don't think people really understand that. I don't want to get into details, but there's a lot of money being made in prison. And lockdowns are very bad for business. Lockdowns can get a yard shuffled up in a way that it's hard to make money. And it's just not good for business, period. No one, I can't say no one, the vast majority of people, if you're Mexican, like I've said, I remember one dude from New York. He was running around with the Southerners, no problem. I clearly remember two dudes from New Mexico. I want to say there was two dudes from Arizona. And I remember with one of the dudes from Arizona having a conversation with him, and I did tell him, like, man, hey, why you guys trip on us over there, man? Like, look it, we ain't fucking with you here. As long as you're running the program, it's all good. But you know damn well we go over there, you ain't gonna be Sally's with one of us, and you ain't gonna be running around the yard with us. But it was more in jest, but there's a lot of truth in jest. But I never met a dude in prison personally where I was like, hey, where's homie from? And they were like, oh, he don't bang on the street. And I was like, really, man? Fuck that guy. Where you're from outside of the walls is just an identifying marker, basically, right? Where if you get into some shit, you mess up, your name, your tattoos, scars, where you're from, those are all things to identify you. So when you land somewhere, whatever you have coming, they're gonna make sure they got the right guy, right? But other than that, once you leave society and you enter prison, you enter that world, what you do is what's important. What you contribute, how you contribute is important. So hopefully that clears up for this batch of people that see this video. Hopefully this clears stuff up for you. But I'll say this. Instead of wondering if you got arrested in California, who you would run with, how about you pay more attention to being a better man out here? Husband, boyfriend, father, uncle, brother, son. How can you better contribute to your family, to your community, to society? Because I'm telling you right now, man, prison is packed with guys that made poor decisions when they were teenagers or their early 20s. And they've been in there 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. If they had a second opportunity to get back out here, they would focus on family, on self, on community, and staying out here. So, those of you that are out here now, don't fuck it off. Whatever you think is cool about criminality, I promise you, when you're around a bunch of angry, very, very violent men, there's no women around, there's no sympathy. It's a different world. And you'll learn how to adapt. You'll get immersed in the hate. You'll watch people be used as pawns on a chessboard. And you'll see a lot of brutality and ugly stuff. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.